This episode is brought to you by D2C Design, your growth partner for high-performance e-commerce. If you're wondering what's holding back your Shopify store, D2C Design offers a free consultative conversion block report. That's right, no strings attached. Just contact them, set up a free call, and they'll break down exactly what your site needs. Again, D2C Design. If you've been paying attention the last 5 years, you've noticed that retail theft is through the roof. In major markets like Chicago and New York, you walk into a CVS and you're noticing things behind lock and key. In San Francisco, Walgreens and other big stores have pulled out because of the crime. Billions have been lost in theft. And here today to help me make sense of all of it, I call him Batman because he's using technology with good old-fashioned police work and working with local prosecutors, and has a really, really cool businesses. Cristian Lopez from ALTO. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you, Don, for having me here today.
Help me make sense. What's happened the last couple of years? I mean, I remember I used to go into a store, no problem, and now everything's under lock and key, and there's all kinds of threats.
You know, if I know exactly what happened, I will not be here probably.
You wouldn't have a business.
Yeah, we'll have a business, but what I can tell you is what I suppose that is happening.
Right.
So everything starts with a really big assumption and something that it has happened all the time in the world, but suddenly some legislators start to thinking that we should do it in another way.
Right.
And there's a systemic problem in the world that is that the government cannot keep pace with the level of crime that happens in every city. Mm. So, and the biggest thing is that the cost of generating a consequence is higher than the actual cost of the stolen good.
Interesting.
Imagine that. So what I'm saying with that is that if I go to a retail store and I steal $500, $1,000 of any kind of merchandise, the cost of the government of actually generating a consequence to that person between the police that have to go there, the prosecutor that needs to pay attention, potentially the prison and everything is going to be higher than that $1,000 or $500 story.
Wow.
So that, as any business in the world, there's an opportunity. And for the business that I'm saying here is a business that shouldn't exist, but it's retail crime.
Okay.
The criminals have this business. And that is interesting because now they found that loophole in the middle of the system that says, if I steal $500 every time, nothing is going to happen to me.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what ALTO is trying to avoid. That is, hey, actually, if you start stealing $500 or $1,000 every time, we're going to do something about it. So essentially here, what we are seeing is if you start stealing, these guys now generate their careers and their lives about this. And what we do is to start putting the pieces together, merging all these cases between different retailers in the world. We have clients like Target, like CVS, like Home Depot, all of them, and say, oh, this guy is not a onesie-toosie. It's not a person that steals $500 and etc. It's a person that is committing repetitive crime. And a statistic, 19% of the people cause 85% of the damage on retail theft.
What? Say that again?
19% of the people, of the criminals, cause 85% of the crime and damage into the retail.
So they're just career criminals that get out and they don't know how to operate in this world without doing criminal activity. That's their business.
That's the business. And the business, let me tell you something, it's really profitable. The thing is, there's rings all over the country, all over the world actually, that you go to a store, steal something that costs $100, you are going to resell it into a ring for $33, and that ring will resell it outside for $66. So everybody makes a cut of that.
Wow.
So it's always a third of the price, and they will make that process. So the people that is going to the stores are getting that risk and go to a store and steal, but because of the consequence are almost that doesn't exist in the perception.
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's not worth the cop showing up, filling out a report, trying to build a paper trail and going after prosecute. So what are the steps that your company takes action on this?
Yeah. So the first thing that we do is we aggregate the data. So stores through the cameras or through the incident reporting or through the police, they actually many times record what happened in that store. So we aggregate that information. We're able to determine, this incident in this specific retailer A, it's very similar to this other incident in retailer B. Or many times it's the same store attacked by the same person 10 times in the same day. And we aggregate that information. Once that we aggregate the data, we're able to find out, oh, this is a case, we link this case, and then we are able to help the prosecutor and the law enforcement to determine, oh, this is a case that we should now go and pursue through the system.
Okay.
So, and we have, we do the first part, we do it through technology and people. So we are tech-enabled service. We aggregate the data with the investigators and technology, but then we have attorneys in every single jurisdiction or legal team members that goes to court, knows the prosecutors, know the law enforcement, and said, hey, Dan, this is not a $500 problem. This is, for example, New York, this is an actual retailer's $900,000 in 6 months from one person.
Wow.
And when we only have that retailer, it was 600,000, but then we aggregated other two that was part of our ALTO Alliance network that we call, and it was $900,000.
So you're able to put together the casework and prosecute that person.
Correct. And help the prosecutor to put the case in front of them and say, this case, and this is where we think now this is not a misdemeanor, this is a felony, and, and it's aggravated because this also this person commit a violent assault, because we don't just focus on the theft, we focus on the crime in general.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I said unfortunately because it's terrible, many times we have had people that go and stab an employee of the retailer. We have people that has go there and make an assault with armed robberies or knives, or many times these things scale pretty quickly. But what we have in our toolbox, and this is what I said, is you need a network to defeat a network.
Yeah.
What we have in our toolbox is a network of professionals that are between legal representatives and also investigators that knows the tricks in the playbook of the law. So imagine we have a case in Chicago. A guy that went to a store, was stealing, and let me tell you something. In general, the people from the stores know who are the habituals.
Yeah.
They know that, oh, this is Johnny, and Johnny is the typical guy that comes every 10 times a day and steal. So, okay. Johnny was in this now store in Chicago, and the store manager said, come on, dude, get out.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to get out. And then get into a verbal discussion. But when the guy was leaving, because they give us a very high customer service to that potential customer, the guy said, you know, I'm sick of this. I start cursing, and I'm going to F-bomb this place. And he goes. So we read the incident and said, hey, we called the store manager. What happened? No, and he didn't put the F-bomb this place. Okay. But then he said that to our attorney. He said, okay, that changes everything. Now that is a terrorist threat.
Interesting. So you can prosecute him differently.
And we prosecute him differently. And a guy that was stealing many times now becomes into a felony, and now he gets into a prison for a long time, and he was not longer in the street for several years. So finding the correct thing to do into the criminal justice system is a key piece of this. And that's what we are trying to hack. Finally, is to find the correct thing to do in every single jurisdiction, because every jurisdiction is different. You know that California in 2015, they approve a prop that was Prop 47. Mm-hmm. Everyone can go to a store and steal $950, and nothing will happen to him. It will be just a misdemeanor and no potential accountability for that person.
Brilliant.
No, brilliant. But you know, if you go to the other perspective, from the legislator perspective, the guy was thinking, we have no abilities because we will have the manpower. We don't have anything. The cost is too high. Yeah. Just let's do this as an efficient decision. Yeah. 950 and down, we're not going to do anything. But now we raise the bar for the criminals to know, 950 and nothing is going to happen.
Yeah.
In the more efficient perspective of the logic, it could make sense. But what we are not considering is that everything is about criminal behavior.
Right.
and the human behavior said, if nothing is going to happen to me,
there's no consequences.
There's no consequences. This is basically free money. So the most important thing that the government needs to do, and what we and our company do, is increase the perception of that consequence and say, if you do something, nobody, if it is 950 or more or less, we are going to do something about it. And now we are aggregating those 950, and we're going to court, and we're using this information, and now they will know that a consequence will happen. And that diminishes the willingness of that person to actually commit a crime. And that's why we put this, and you have seen this, and maybe you can put it somewhere in the pod, this ALTO logo in the front door.
Yeah,
because
I've seen
now
it.
the criminals now know that if they go to our store,
Uh-huh.
something's going to happen to them.
Walk me through statistics. You implement this in a store. What happens to that store?
So depending on how crowded is that market, but we have seen a reduction up to a 30% of the habituals coming into the stores usually
Yeah.
because they know that something, a consequence happened. And at the beginning is slower, but
Yeah.
then when they understand that the people that was going with them all the time to the stores are every time, then they do not come. So the statistic is they customers, we have some customers that have declared that they have seen a 30% reduction and shrink because of this habitual people is no longer there because they just decided to go other place or
Yeah.
they now are having a consequence.
Wow.
Imagine something. In retail crime, only 5% of the cases that get to the criminal justice system see the light of an accountability or a consequence once they get into the criminal justice system.
Only
And
5%?
Only 5%. And this is because this is a process. Okay, you get to the court, and and I don't know if you have been in court, but they have a stack of papers this size,
Right.
and they said, okay, case 1, 2, 3, retailer 1 against Dan, dismissed because they don't have the evidence, or case 2 because they don't find whatever. What we do is basically put all the pieces together, so now the case is robust and they happen. And that 5% now transformed to 92% of consequences where we are there. So
Wow.
criminals doesn't like to be in a court where ALTO is present.
Yeah, because you've got the paper trail. You make it easy for the prosecutors to go and put this person behind bars.
Correct. So first store that we opened here in Miami. Interesting story. We were there. Ursula, the store manager of that store, it's in the US 1 store. And she said to me, we went there. We with the police. We with the prosecutor office. We start having the conversation because there's a lot of also teaching the prosecutor office that this is something that doesn't affect a big corporation, affect Ursula and a person that is there. And I see Ursula. I said, I see her really disengaged. Like, I don't care about this.
Right.
I call that the learn and hope. That she's learning that nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, Ursula, what happened? Papi? And she started saying, I said, nothing's going to happen. And this person of the police has been here 10 times and nothing has happened. And okay, but Ursula, tell me, what's your biggest problem? I have one person that comes every 2 days to these stores, jump the counter, pushes,
Wow.
hit in the face one of my employees, and then steal all the cigarettes and then leaves. I said, but have you called the police? Do you see that officer over there? Yeah, he has been here 10 times after that, and nothing has happened. So I go to the officer. I said, hey, Mr. Officer, what happened? And he said, oh, yeah, I know that guy. It's Lawrence Riles. Like, what? Yeah, and why you haven't done anything? No, I have to take this guy to the prosecutor offices 20 times, not only here, in other places. Okay, and what happened? No, and the prosecutor was not there. So we have our staff attorney over there. I said, okay, now you, Esther, go and talk to the attorney and tell me what happened. This was in a Monday. She went that Monday afternoon to the office and said, hey, what happened to Lawrence Riles? Oh, we know this guy. Yeah, I have received this case 20 times in my office, but every time the evidence and all the process is not here, so I have to release him. I said, okay, what we will do is now we made an investigation. We found like 30-something cases related to this person in our network.
Yeah.
We found the guy. 2 days after, he said, Ursula, the next time this person appear, call the law enforcement police and he will come. Okay, he came. He grabbed it into the train station, grab it, take it into the police station. Our attorney had the doc with 37 cases. The guy spent the next 6 months in prison until we have a verdict.
Yeah.
7 years in jail.
Wow.
30-something different recurrent crimes, more than 10 different felonies, and the guy was still out.
Isn't that crazy? So yeah, the other thing is like it's an employee retention thing because if you have that job, like I wouldn't last 2 days. If I knew every other day some guy was going to jump over the counter and potentially punch me, and then by the way, if he's willing to punch you, he's willing to stab you, shoot you, whatever, I'm not going to work there. Forget it.
Correct.
Theft on the inside. So employees who steal, what do you see? How do you prosecute them? Is it as big a problem as people say?
It is. And again, human behavior.
Okay.
If you go every day to work,
Yeah.
into your store, and you are a very committed, very loyal, very clean person that goes and do your job, and the majority of the retail people is like that.
Yeah.
I think that the statistic is more than 50% of the people, their first job was in retail
Right.
in the US.
Yeah.
So the majority of the people is great that goes to retail. But now they see in the worst neighborhoods that we have, San Fran, New York, Chicago, etc. They go there and they see a person going and steal once, and then twice, and then jump the counter, and then punch somebody. And they said, okay, this is normal. And we have normalized
Stealing.
stealing.
Yeah.
So they said, oh, I can do this. But if you don't put a consequence into one person or another person that was detected, they said, oh, maybe I should do this.
Yeah.
So internal theft happens. This is a minimal portion of the people that works in retail.
Okay.
But we also prosecute internal theft because we
Theft
don't
is
care
theft.
if it is
Yeah.
theft. It's theft.
Absolutely.
And it could be internal, could be external, could be credit card fraud, it could be vendor fraud, could be anything that happened. So it's when we normalize theft,
Yeah.
that's what happened.
When you normalize that. Yeah. So call it the progressive DAs in these cities. Alto goes in there. Is it are they well received? Do they see you challenging? Do they fight back on you guys? What has been your experience in markets like San Francisco, Chicago?
So
those sorts of places?
we have more than 1,000 different partnership or relationships with DA's offices and law enforcement agencies that we work with, and we have everything. We have people but the majority, I will say that the trend is that no matter if you are very progressive or conservative, it doesn't care. Many times it's about they don't know exactly what they are seeing. When you're in that office, and you receive a murder case or you receive a retail case,
Exactly.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, you go murder. Right.
And it's pretty obvious, right?
Right.
So I don't blame them.
Right.
But at the same time, obviously there are different courts, different things.
Yeah,
but
right.
Whatever. But the important thing is that if you now say this is not about the multi-billion-dollar company that is being attacked, this is about Ursula, this is about this other person,
Correct.
and the community that you are working
Yes.
with, because they actually care a lot about the community. They start taking the acknowledgement or the understanding that they have to do something about it. And remember, people in general, unless it's a passionate kind of crime, do not start from nothing to a big crime.
Yeah, right.
Shoplifting is the first one.
Right.
Stealing money from your dad's wallet, it
Right.
could be the first one.
Right.
But if you don't do something that as a dad to have a consequence to that
Yeah.
kid, then things start growing. So if we take care about that, it works. So what do we do at Alto? We work with those very progressive DA's offices. We explain the situation. We talk about the thing. We represent the victim in court, and they understand, and they, in general, are really, really receptive of this. We have had great cases in San Francisco,
Great.
in Chicago, Cook County that is difficult, like everywhere.
Interesting. It strikes me as a lot of what you're doing is organizing, cross-referencing, different retailers, and like casework. AI seems like perfect for your business. Are you using AI? How is it helping the business? What does that look like?
Yeah, I have to separate the business like in two different phases.
Right.
If you want to say it. The first one is like the investigation phase. Like, okay, something happened. Now you are going to start linking this case and understanding. So in that, we don't only use what Alto has as a AI tool. We also partner up with other, for example, camera companies, or there's some great companies that log the cards or anything. And we grab that information. And in there, we have algorithms and some helpers that said, oh, these cases are really similar. The modus operandi here is very similar to the modus operandi here. And they can kind of tell us the probabilities of cases to be the same person.
Yeah.
There's other companies that utilize face recognition, and they give us the information to us. Many things like that. But that's kind of the investigation piece. In there's a lot of different pieces moving right now. Like a lot of people is being able to make that investigation more efficient. And we are also doing that inside of the company, utilizing the different technologies that are available. But in the second piece, that is more like the workflow piece, if you want to say, is how do you are able, okay, now I detect this ring, I detect this person, and there's a very manual process that is okay from having all the information, having the victim's letter, having the all the evidence, the ducks in a row, if you want to say, in order to take it to the final piece of the accountability. There's a lot of manual work, and there's a lot of I have to go to court, present that day, do this thing. So in that area is where we utilize much more the attorney and the legal savvy piece that right now in the US nobody else has.
Right.
It's only so in the investigation piece we partner up with many people, and I call it the last mile of loss prevention.
Right.
The last mile of security is that one, is where we are connecting the public sector the private sector with the public sector and making them work together in order to get that accountability.
Wow. What is loss like in the U.S. at the retail location a year?
Last year was $125 billion.
What?
Yep. That was NRF said. Not everything of that is theft. They said between a 30 to a 40% of that. So, but it's still $50 billion.
Yeah, it's a huge number.
And this is only considering the biggest 100 NRF retailers.
Right.
So imagine all the long tail and the mounts and paps and all of that. It's a massive number. Now, make the equation, and if we do this in a very simple math, let's say there is $50 billion of external theft.
Right.
85% of that, it's 40 something, $40 billion of external theft, and 85% of that is caused by 19. So the 100, 85% is caused by 19% of the people. So if we knuckle down 19% of the people, that number will go radically down.
That is crazy. You mentioned briefly sort of a ring of these people, right? Like almost call it a cartel of these folks. Like, how does that work? And like, are they international? What's their operating system?
There's not only one operating system.
Okay.
That's the first thing. We have operations in Chile, in Colombia, in Mexico, in Spain, in different places. We have detected some rings that are more international, but there's many of them that are very national. So some of them are just, I will have like 3 different buckets if you want.
Yeah.
One is the guy that found out that this opportunity was a low-hanging fruit, and I'm going to do it and tell his friend, and then suddenly they start getting into a business, very bad business, by the way, but a business that is very profitable.
Right.
And start stealing. And for example, we have detected complete houses that now are resellers, where the basement is Nike, the first floor is Adidas, and the third floor is Puma, for example.
You're kidding me.
No, and they have 100 people that is going and stealing, and they resell. Okay.
Wow.
Other ones are related to more drug cartels. Other one is just crime rings. So it's a little bit of everything. There's no one specific definition. Other ones are, we have had cases, for example, with credit card fraud or online theft.
Yeah.
People that bought something online and then returned something that was already out of date. And that has been millions of dollars of theft as well. But it was one guy or 2 guys, friends, that start doing this all the time, and they find it normal. And I'm screwing up the system, but it's working. But then you make the investigation and you figure out, this was $1 million theft, and the guy now is in jail for X amount of time.
Wow, that is incredible, man.
I mean, human behavior. If you find the opportunity, and your ethics could be a little bit blurry, you will make it happen.
Yeah, it's funny. You presented it to me when we were talking earlier, which is you have to think about crime as a business. Like if you're a business guy, I have a business, you have a business, and this is how it operates, and that's how they think. And I'm like, yeah, actually, you're right. They're not stealing, put it in my pocket, and what? Like, no. They have an enterprise about it, and hence why you have that 19% that just causes all the problems. Mm-hmm. And this is their business. This is the only way they know how to live.
And yes, and now, for example, with sometime maybe 10, 20 years ago, people was stealing a lot and returning things.
Yeah.
Then there was a great company that found out a way to detect return fraud. So they put that in the technology on the retailers, and now return fraud went down. But then they found another way that is online things, and then so the business. Imagine this, that you are an entrepreneur, because you are an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
How many now with AI? You are changing the way that you are managing your business. Right? And you are adapting into the new waves of what needs to happen in order to have a very robust business, profitable, and also have your customers really happy.
Yeah.
This is the same thing. The guys are saying, oh, they put a security guard with a camera. Great. What I could do? Oh, I'm gonna do this. Oh, they put this. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, they
They are
adapt.
gonna adapt
Yeah.
because humans, we adapt very, very easily to change.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's more difficult, but if you're a good businessman, you will be first to read and always be ahead of the curve. And that is exactly what happened with retail crime.
That's crazy.
Now you have the stupid guys that only thing that go is steal and for drugs, for example.
Yeah,
And that's kind of the people that goes all the time and resell to the rings. But yeah, that's how it works.
it's crazy.
It's a business.
What are your thoughts on no cash bail? So that got very popular in the last couple of years. I used to be a big supporter of it. Now I go back and forth with it. And for those of you who don't know, it's just sort of inequalities. You know, people go to jail and they can't post bail and then they get stuck in the system and so on. So I think it's probably had the wrong or maybe not the effect that originally people thought, right?
So first of all, I sympathize completely with the people that doesn't have the money to pay.
Right.
They should have a way to help
Yeah.
to be at the end. If they don't have the money to pay, there shouldn't be an equality in order to
Sure.
have a consequence.
Right.
Now, but the problem is, if you have no cash bail and now you didn't generate any consequence to that person,
Yeah.
what is the accountability that
Right.
that person will
They
receive?
steal, they get out, and they can go back and do whatever they
So
want.
what happened? Now you again reduce the cost of generating a theft or the cost of causing something bad to the society.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I have no issues with we want to change the way that we're punishing the people or that we are getting that accountability level for that people. If it is not about money, okay, let's do community service.
Right.
If it is not community service, let's do other things. But remember, the problem is that in the other side,
Yeah.
there's a business, there's a government
Yeah.
that does not have the ability to follow through all the different consequences for people, so money is easier.
Right.
But if we have a more robust system that they have the resources many times in order to do that, it will be easier.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I think that every time that we diminish the consequence, we are actually increasing the chances of theft to go up.
Yeah.
So I don't have any issue with taking the bail out, but you have to generate a consequence in another way.
Right.
Community service, it could be the I don't
Whatever.
care.
Probation. Whatever.
Let's have a way in order to have a real accountability.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're not just in retail locations, correct?
No, we
What,
are.
what else you guys do?
So in the U.S., right now we are in retail locations and we are starting a secondary business or secondary industry that is telecoms, telecommunication areas. So copper theft. You know the
Yeah. You can resell it for a lot of money. Yeah.
yep, and now the copper is up. The people go and steal, and you know the telecoms are trying to switch from copper to a lot of different things. But
Yeah.
copper theft is a big thing.
Yeah.
In the U.S., that's what we're doing. But as I mentioned, we have operations in different countries, and we work with forestry. We work with aviation, for example, disrupting passengers. The people
What?
that goes to the airline and
They go
now
to Spirit Airline and they start acting like an idiot. Yeah.
exactly that guy. We will prosecute them. We work with forestry. We them
Airlines, telco.
airlines, telco, minery, mining. So a lot of theft over there with the tools, other things. So yeah,
Yeah.
we work in everywhere. Insurance is a big one as well.
Really?
Workers' compensation. People that said, "Oh, I'm sick," but they are not.
Yeah.
We go
I hurt my
against-
back. Yeah.
We go against the doctor that prescribed that, and we go against the person that faked the injury. So we go against both, and now we diminish the insurance claims by a lot. And I know that in Florida that's a big thing. We haven't get into that in Miami yet or in the US, but yeah, so it's creating what we are doing. We create this network. We are today in 30 different states, and we're going to start building on top of that in different crime, because crime is crime is crime.
It's crime, and it needs to be stopped. Where can people find out about you guys?
So first of all, you can text to Dan now.
You can
It's,
text me and follow me on LinkedIn.
Website is www.alto.us.
Yeah.
Or just write me to my personal email, and I will happily talk with you. clopez@alto.us.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember, when you presented to our group, we're part of a business group about a year ago. I said this was fascinating. Like, I didn't know this kind of business existed, but right now, at where we're at, I think when it comes to crime, it's the perfect solution for a retailer or any type of business, as you outlined, insurance or telco, whatever. Thank you for coming on the show, amigo. I wish you nothing but success.
No, I appreciate it. No, my success is going to be great for all the rest of the society. So yes, that's what we want.
Yeah.
So and thank you for having me.
You are the modern day Batman. That's right. I really meant that.
I appreciate it, and thank you very much. And what a great place you have here.
Thanks for coming on the show. Once again, I want to thank our sponsors, D2C Design, your design firm for anything related to Shopify, e-commerce, and your website needs. Again, you can find them at d2cdesign.com. Thanks.